first knew I was going to talk about reflection, I thought it would be a breeze. Introspective is a word I often use to describe myself. I think deeply about myself regularly, and I openly process my life with friends and family. While this is a great start, this was not always reflection. Just because I spent time thinking did not mean that I was being intentionally reflective. When I reconsidered my reflective process, I found myself reaching for stopping points along the way, as if I could reach a point of knowing myself well enough that I could just stop. This is likely a coping mechanism that keeps me from ruminating over negative thoughts. Yet, it also had an adverse effect of holding me back from taking action in different areas of my life. In order to make a decision or try something new, I would have to reach a conclusion first. As anyone does, I crave new experiences that help me grow, and I feel the added need to choose the perfect thing to do. This mentality has kept me from taking any action at both big and small moments in my life. Since I never found any official conclusions about myself, because that's impossible, I could not use them to find activities that fit me. Today I'll share with you my process of unlearning this habit of waiting to finish reflecting before acting. When I look back at my former self, I always regret not being more involved in my community, not trying more interesting jobs, not taking more AP classes, etc. I can see these opportunities better when they occurred in the past than when they're sitting right in front of me. This is probably because I know more about myself now than I did in the past. I knew I wasn't in many groups in high school when I was applying to college, and this led to a lot of insecurity. At 17, I worried about writing a college application essay because I had limited experiences to reflect on that would set me apart from other students. I could reflect on my class performances and on my own work ethic, but very few experiences in my community. There were some other factors that added to this, but I still had the option to reach out for things that I felt unable to do. My anxiety over picking an activity that fit me best paralyzed me from taking action. Fast forward to my summer in quarantine. This strange semester has made me get out of my comfort zone in many ways by force, but I've been working to learn more about myself by choice. It has helped me feel like I have more time and freedom, so trying anything that's available to me is more appealing than times when I have a lot more going on. I've been using the yes man mentality to try new things, and I've learned so much about myself. If no one's seen the Jim Carrey movie, the idea is that he's a cynical person, goes to a motivational speaker, and he decides to say yes to everything anybody asks of him. Anyways, this is mainly because I act before fully reflecting on my decision. The family I was living with during quarantine asked me to walk their dogs, and I said yes. I got to be more active and found myself outside most days. It wasn't perfect. I don't enjoy walking on gravel, and the rescued hounds aren't the easiest to walk. But I did it. By dipping my toe in the water with a new element of my day, I could see that accepting a new opportunity was not such a big deal. It helped show me that this habit of mine was, in fact, breakable. A neighbor saw me walking the dogs often and asked me to watch her farm. I was in farm country, obviously. I had never taken care of a horse or a goat before, but I said yes. This was far from perfect, since I had no clue what I was doing. I crave control, and this was the opposite. Yet I loved it, and it helped me build a routine. I was able to see positives in these tasks once I tried them. My vision of what farm work looked like was totally wrong, but I had never questioned it. It was so fun, and it helped me connect with new skills. Eventually, this neighbor sent my number to another neighbor who also had a farm. All of a sudden, I'm covered in mud, bottle feeding a calf, while goats, ducks, and miniature horses swarmed around me. As strange and out of character as it was to be jumping fences while holding buckets of feed and putting muzzles on horses, I could understand so much more about myself. The step that I needed to take to learn more was to stop thinking, or more so worrying, about how each activity fit with my own identity. I could not reflect on something if it had not occurred yet, so why was I trying so hard to? Without having specific expectations of what I might gain, from being on a farm. I could just simply be. Later, when I recalled happy memories from my time at each farm, I could reflect on why it was so great, or not so great, and I learned more about myself than a more planned experience. My takeaway from it is that I do not have an interest in being a farmer as a career. On a larger scale, though, I gained more from this experience than the past times where I would wait for an opportunity that I would deem perfect beforehand. Even if it wasn't my true passion, caring for large animals grew me more as a person than if I had said no. Since my experience on the farm, I've been able to reconsider what I thought reflection was. Once I pinpointed my justification for being so reluctant to act on things, I realized that my overthinking was a barrier for me. Putting a label on this barrier has helped me to be more aware of how I reflect. Now, time spent reflecting has become a lot more meaningful for me. Being satisfied without finding conclusions about myself does not happen overnight. I'm still working on it, and probably will for the rest of my life. Being a scientifically minded, highly logical STEM student, it's difficult to not have finite answers. Reflection is not a practice that can be put into steps or formulated. Trust me, I wish it was. I'm just starting to notice new things about myself, and it's because of the flexibility I've added to my reflective process. Flexibilities with what I say yes to and whether or not there's an end goal. Reflection might seem like sitting and thinking introspectively, and that is very true in most cases. I think we all enjoy finding a quiet space and journaling or praying or meditating. Yet there is also a very active component to consider as well. You cannot reflect on something that has not happened, so make sure to spend time living. Reflection can be powerful during sacred times, but is also equally powerful when it isn't planned. I find it best to summarize reflection as a balance of thinking and acting. You can't have one without the other, and your needs for each will always vary. After assessing my own reflection, I noticed how unbalanced my own process was, and I've been working hard to not think too much before acting. And the payoff has been great. I've been volunteering at a free clinic, cooking new meals, and feeling happier overall as a result of changing the way I approach reflection. I hope that all of you can find your own balance of thinking and acting as well. Thank you so much.